All right, welcome everyone to episode 21 of the Phoenix Report. I'm Jack Connor. Here we got two guests for the price of one, kids. Very interesting thing. Now, if you go back and listen to episode 5, one of my earliest episodes, I had David Marfit from Breathing Theory here. Now, unfortunately, David is no longer in Breathing Theory, but I do have one of his bandmates from that band, Collin Morrison on guitar.
What's up?
And with Collin, he also brought his lovely girlfriend, who also happens to be the business partner in Marsh Productions, Miss Sarah Little.
Hi, everyone.
So this is kind of interesting. I always thought it was a cool dynamic because, like, you know, obviously you guys being a couple, but both being involved in the music scene. You, Collin, as an on-stage performer and talent, and you, Sarah, as like the promoter, and you're working behind the scenes. I'm curious, how did you guys meet, by the way?
Oh my god, that's a crazy story.
Did you guys know each other from the band or from music stuff? Or?
I was really good friends with someone who used to run the Originals pub. It was located in Cocoa.
Yeah, I remember that place.
That was a fun spot just to hang out after work. And one day I see what I now know, Breathing Theory. They were practicing on the stage there, and Collin was wearing it had a little pocket, and it was a little V-neck shirt, and then there was Rob, and David was on the ground kind of, coaching them on where to go next and what sounds to make. And I looked over at my friend, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. David is giving guitar lessons at the Originals. I had no idea they were a band. Then I needed tickets for one of the shows they were doing, met up with Collin, and somehow we were just inseparable from there. Bounced ideas off of each other, found out that we kind of had some things in common. There were some things that I brought to the table that he didn't necessarily have, so we just had this crazy bond that annoyed me.
Well, why did it annoy you?
Because
you're like, you're just too perfect.
I didn't know.
How dare you?
I didn't know how to handle it. I'm not one of those people that just meets someone and then there's an automatic attraction. It's something that builds up. And with Collin, I was like, oh, I thought you were getting guitar lessons, and now I find you're this incredible individual.
Right.
But I mean, we were inseparable from that point on, and then I couldn't get rid of him, so here we are.
Right. It's kind of funny how stuff like that happens. I remember when I was first dating my wife, and like a couple months ago, she's talking to her mom about me, and she's like, something, and she's like, but I love him. She's like, oh my god, I do love him. She was talking about me. So it's funny how like you come to stuff like that, and it just comes out of nowhere. You can't predict when these things are going to happen, of course.
I think Collin was afraid of me when we first met.
You can keep dreaming.
Yes, all 5'0" of Sarah. She's very terrifying. No, she's not at all. But yeah, no, I mean, this is definitely interesting. Collin, I remember you and I were talking about getting together and doing this because you wanted to kind of go over some of the experiences you had over the last year or so of being on the road with Breathing Theory.
Oh, yeah. I
mean, I got to say, in terms of like Melbourne area bands, or I should say Brevard County, Florida area bands, you guys are certainly one of the most prolific as far as going out there and really hitting the road and really just putting yourselves out there. And I know you probably had a lot of interesting stuff to tell from the road. I know it's been a little bit difficult with Dave not being in the band anymore. As I understand, it's an amicable thing. He just had some personal stuff to take care of. But obviously, dealing with stuff like that
it's always
while
a
being on the road.
Yeah, for sure. We spent the whole year last year in 2015 just out on the road grinding. Going through the financial struggles that a band does in their beginning stages. But that stuff is really starting to pay off this year. We have a lot of huge things in the works. We're actually working with a new booking agent that's got us on a couple of awesome festivals right now.
Nice.
Too. Yeah, so it's looking great for us. Spent a ton of time just like going all over the place, all over the East Coast. Went to Niagara Falls, went to South Philly, Michigan, Ohio, everything in between. You know what I mean?
Very cool. I
didn't mean for that to be a poem.
No. Obviously, I will. I often tell friends of mine who live in the Midwest or who live up north, they're like, hey, I got some friends of mine on the road. They might be coming into your area. On there. So I mean, I'm definitely trying to get the word out for you guys as much as I can as well, because obviously, it's, just because I believe in what you guys are doing. You guys are a good band, so I want to see you guys succeed as well. Is it? I mean, how tough has it been? I mean, I guess balancing day jobs and things like that. You know, you mentioned the financial struggles.
Oh, it's insane. Like, the amount of money that you make when you're starting out as a band is like ridiculous. I've gone through many different jobs. Don't get to hold them for very long. You know,
Right.
You have to be really creative when it comes to finding a way to earn your living and make it as a band. Like right now, what I'm working on is a cover band that we're doing kind of on the side when we're home. I also have a couple other things that I'm like venturing out into.
No, I got to ask because I wasn't sure who was involved in it. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to ask: is this Yak Bub and the BT Bandits?
Yak Bulb and the
Yak
BT
Bulb.
Bandits, and that's actually
Are you Yak Bulb?
No, I'm not Yak Bulb.
No.
No, that's
actually
Jacob.
that's
Oh,
actually
okay.
a Breathing Theory story right there.
Gotcha.
Our first tour with our drummer Jacob. One of our fans was actually he was belligerently drunk and yelling at Jacob, but he was calling him Yak Bulb, like in like a German accent.
Right, almost
Yak
like Jakub.
So we were like, dude, that sticks. Yak Bulb and the BT Bandits, that's our side project.
Nice.
And it just it came to be we started talking to Jacob again, and we're like, you know what, dude, let's do a cover band. Let's just have some fun, play some shows while we're not on the road, make a little bit of cash.
Is he singing for this cover band or
No.
Okay.
It's Corey and me on vocals right
Oh,
now.
okay,
and,
okay.
He's on the drums.
Nice.
Corey and I are both playing guitar. We're kind of working our way into maybe becoming like a trio with it, or
no bass?
Bass player. Yeah, we're gonna have bass.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Gotta have the bass in there, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're flexible with it.
But I mean, speaking of bass, obviously, we talk about what it's like, maintaining a job, being able to support yourself while you're on the road, and not getting too deep into that. But I understood that was why Dave wasn't able to continue with the band. It wasn't It wasn't because you guys didn't get along, or it wasn't because he didn't want to be there.
No,
as I
it's
understood.
not just that. It's not just that though. But sometimes there's certain things that one person alone just cannot have on their shoulders, and sometimes when you're dealing with so much and you have so much going on internally, just thoughts that you have all to yourself, sometimes you have to take yourself away from bigger projects you have, and you have to just give yourself time to unwind and to really kind of figure out what direction you want to go in. And for anybody that ever, doubted him as an individual and him with all of his issues, anybody that has talked to him now, he's one of the most positive individuals I've ever met.
Absolutely.
Now to date. David Marfit has definitely come a long, long, long way, and that definitely spans, I think, from his girlfriend Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing fabulously together.
Good, good.
They're
I'm glad
both
to hear
working.
that.
They're both striving towards something better in the future. And no, it's not like anybody in the band was trying to push him away, or anybody in the friend group was trying to push him away. But I really think that he's taken this time and he's used it to his advantage, because who knows what the future holds for him. I really think he's going to go far.
Yeah, I know musically he's resurfaced. He's been playing a few shows with Bloodlines, and
which is actually a band that I'm producing now. I just started kind of venturing into audio engineering.
It all comes full circle.
Oh, look at that! I didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've only been doing it for like 3 or 4 months now, since the beginning of the year. But it's going pretty well. I like working with the Bloodlines guys. We got some awesome guitar tones. The drums and the bass are sounding really good. We're about, I'd say, halfway through, maybe 60% of the way through doing a little EP, little 3-song demo with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that's always fascinating. That's always fascinated me about producing and audio engineering. I'm completely clueless when it comes to it.
Oh,
but
it's like a giant ocean to me right now. I'm like a little kid. I'm like,
well,
what is this? What is this? How do I do this?
I was thinking it's like learning a new instrument.
Yeah.
You really have to spend time and practice with it. So it's.
Oh yeah,
but it's a whole different skill
art
set
form with the science behind it.
Sure.
There's so many different things you can do.
And not only that,
so
just
many options
being an artist yourself, you also get to put your own creativity into it.
And I almost feel like with the recording side of music, there's more room for creativity than there is even in writing songs.
Absolutely,
it's pretty crazy.
And going back to even though things aren't working out, or I should say things didn't work out with Dave, he had to stay behind. You did gain a new guy, Devin Lupus, on bass. Now, Devin Lupus, for those of you who don't know, he was the drummer for a band called Shattering Silence. He's also an incredible vocalist and guitarist as well. I think at one point he was trying to try out for The Voice or something like that, or
Actually,
Idol.
He's done that 3 times in the past 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Plus, he's actually tried out for both of them. It was The Voice and American Idol.
He's
multiple times.
He has an incredible voice on him as well, and I always joked around like this kid
Sounds
needs
like
to be
Miles
fronting.
Kennedy.
Oh yes.
I always joked around like this kid needs to be fronting his own band. Forget drumming for whoever.
Yeah.
But he's on bass now with Breathing Theory. That's got to add a lot to the sound, I would think.
Oh yeah, it's working out pretty well. We're trying to find a common ground, see if it's something he wants to move forward and stay a permanent member. You know.
So
right
we're
now
just kind of trying it out right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's understandable.
Yeah.
But that's very cool. Now Sarah, obviously, great segue there, right? No, but obviously you've been pretty busy yourself, obviously, with Chris Marsh Productions. We were talking about this off air, but back in December, Chris Marsh himself came to a Vertebraker band practice one night, just kind of announced, all the stuff that he was working on, including having yourself as his business partner.
Right.
How has that been going these last few months?
Well, Chris actually, anytime I saw him at a show, I was constantly asking him how he was doing. I was constantly asking what he was doing to grow. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just so much of where are you now, but it was more so of where are you going to go? And I would just kind of bounce little ideas off of him. Well, after all of the idea bouncing, we would talk more about how he was going to get those ideas rolling. And I always gave him advice on it. And we found out that we have a really, really solid friendship. And we're able to not just talk about things, but to actually make them happen within our small circle of friends, and then reaching out to larger people in the scale. Now with Chris Marsh Productions, we've been working on a lot of stuff. We are actually planning for 2017 already.
Wow.
This may potentially be the final Mayfest. For those of you who haven't gotten your tickets yet, you can contact anybody in any of the bands. You can contact myself, Chris Marsh. You can absolutely contact Collin.
Yeah, you guys are doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this may potentially be the last Mayfest. And I think after Mayfest, we're probably going to be refocusing our attention more towards the Orlando area. We have some really big projects that are being set up. If you don't know who Al Corey is of Al Corey Productions, you need to absolutely look him up. After Mayfest, we're going to be putting together another show with him, and a documentary soon will follow. The documentary is going to be absolutely phenomenal just because all of the fans and anybody who knows these guys will get to know them on an even more personal level. It's definitely behind the scenes, and Vertebraker, you guys are going to be on this documentary.
We are. We're on the first one, and Chris and I touched on this back in December. He mentioned that he and Al were working on, not only on the production side of that was like part 2 of his announcement that he made back then. It was really funny. He came over to Jared's house one night, and the rest were like, "Hey, Chris is here." So, no, we knew he was coming, but it was just one of those things where we weren't necessarily expecting it earlier that week.
Right.
But it happened. So that was one of the things that he announced was that that CMP was officially getting involved in Alley Core Productions.
Yes.
And sort of producing the documentary, having some input as far as like the location, and also putting. Chris said that they were going to organize the the documentary release show.
Yes.
Which my band and the other 4 bands will be on, and that he said that they were working out some venue stuff. Mm-hmm. It's been a few months since that has come out. What do you know of like how everything's been coming along? Because I talk to Al every now and then, and I'm not sure what's happening.
Well, right now we're still trying to do some of the finishing touches. Al has been working diligently to put together something that people are not just going to want to watch once, but are going to want to watch over and over and over again, just like the Star Wars movie that came out recently. If you haven't seen it, you need to see that too.
That's pretty ambitious. Maybe you've heard of that film. I don't know. It's pretty ambitious if you're going to match Star Wars' gross. I want this thing to do well, but come on now.
It's what, the top grossing movie of all time?
Him and his
It's
team.
ambitious.
Al and his team, they're definitely working very diligently to put together something that the public is absolutely going to fall in love with. And as far as any extra input, I do know some more things, but that's not up to me to tell everyone.
Gotcha.
All I can say is everybody, please stay tuned to Al's page. You can follow him on Instagram, Facebook. He also has a website. You can check that out. And for any other updates on that, you can also follow Marsh Productions. We'll have some updates as everything comes along set in stone.
By the way, in case you guys are wondering, yes, we are in a Starbucks, and that was a blender behind us. So I don't know if that picked up, but just thought I'd let you guys know. This is some insider stuff you're getting here on the Phoenix Report. But yeah, so I mean that all sounds incredible. I mean, me and my guys are anxiously awaiting, when this infamous documentary is going to come out. We want to be there for. Obviously, we're excited about the
show.
The show,
oh my goodness.
Whenever and wherever that will be. We know it's going to be somewhere in the Orlando area,
Yes.
but they've mentioned a couple of venues as a possibility, but we're not sure yet. But all I can say is I can't wait until that's set in stone and I can talk about it.
Right. Now, something we can talk a little bit about that is set in stone. We can shed a little more light on Mayfest. There's one thing that a lot of people don't know about is the Days in Melbourne. They're actually doing discounted rooms for Mayfest. If you book a hotel room at Days Inn for Mayfest, you get a discount. Also, anybody that books a room is going to be input into a raffle, and one of those lucky winners is going to have their hotel room completely paid. So you get to stay in Melbourne for free after Mayfest.
I mean, come on, how can you guys beat that?
A free
You're
hotel
going to a
room?
show. The tickets to the thing aren't really that expensive, from what I hear.
I think they're free.
Yeah, I mean, we're practically paying you to come see live music. I mean, why would you not go to that?
And another thing is, another really big thing, the AVET project is a huge portion of Mayfest. For any of those of you that don't know what AVET project is, it's American Veterans Empowerment Team, and pretty much what they do is provide assistance to past and present United States servicemen and women. So they will be there to take donations. Donations can be made in cash, canned goods, or any non-perishable items. All of that goes to these men and women that have fought diligently for our freedom,
of course,
and for our happiness. So if you can give back just a little bit, that would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much more straightforward than that. Chris himself, a former Marine, or I guess they say once a Marine, always a Marine. I don't want to make any of the Marines mad that are listening to this show. Semper Fi, I love you guys. Oh God, yeah, but no, Mayfest is definitely a good time. You know, we've played the last two of them. This one's going to be good. Collin and Breathing Theory are going to be on there.
And it's been almost a year since we played our hometown. So
has it really? Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Because I think the last
about
one
9 months or so.
Yeah, was that the one that we did together? Was like your CD release party or at Landfill?
Yeah, we
man.
actually played with you the last time we played.
That was an epic night. It was our two bands and Vilify, and just the crowd was incredible.
That was a fun show, definitely.
Definitely. Now
can't wait to play that place.
One of the things that always kills me about, it always strikes me as being funny is the fact that. Yeah, we talk about band members commuting back and forth and distances. Mm-hmm. Your drummer Keegan lives in Ohio.
Yep, it's a crazy transportation sort of thing for us to do tours and play shows.
I live in Melbourne. I live in Orlando. The rest of the guys live in Melbourne. I thought my commute was bad.
Yeah.
Come on now. But I know.
Miles or so.
I know in that last show you had Mike Batista fill in on drums.
Yeah, he did an awesome job too.
Yeah, he's a fantastic
drummer. We were working with him for about 3 days before that show, and he learned the whole set. Did a great job. Did 2 shows with us.
Definitely. So how has that been as far as like the touring goes with Keegan living where he is?
Typically what we do is when we're playing the local shows in the local scene, we shoot to have it before or after a tour. That way he can either fly down or drive down for us to start the tour, and then we can take off from there, and then the show be part of the tour. If that makes sense.
It does, but I mean, but as far as like practicing and writing new stuff, like how has that been going? I mean,
what we basically do is we shoot our ideas back and forth. Record the ideas. Shoot stuff back and forth. A lot of the core writing is done between Corey, Rob, and I, and when Dave was in the band, Dave, of course.
Sure.
And then from there, Keegan, of course, gets to put his beats in the whole situation.
Right.
And I mean, let's be honest here. Distance cannot put a damper on creativity or artistry. So I mean, if you're a true artist and you're true to your craft, then it's not going to matter what type of blockage there is, and even if that blockage is distance, you'll still be able to pull through. So
and with where technology's at,
True.
like with Skype and everything, you can literally set up a virtual band, people around the world, and play.
And be able to like play in real time.
I don't know
There's
if
no
I
delay.
would go to that show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want to stare at computer screens.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have to leave your home. I think that's the upside of it. So
Yeah, I guess.
But we're all
you could be going out there in your PJs and just watching
we're all
the
pretty
show.
much multi-verse musicians. I personally do everything but drums. You don't want to see me on a drum kit. But I
Same
can,
here.
I can play bass. I can play piano. I sing. Corey plays guitar. He could pick up a bass and play a bass. He can play some piano. He sings.
Right.
Kegan can do pretty much everything.
That was
so we all kind of write. We all kind of have our ideas that we.
That was one of the things that I noticed about you, and you and I didn't really know each other like at all before our bands got involved. But I mean, we've gotten to know each other over the last few months. I know that you're also an accomplished keyboard player as well, and that you integrate that into the band, which
I wouldn't
think.
say accomplished.
Well, I mean, you know what you're doing at least, and
Yeah, I kind of like self-taught myself. I started messing around. Actually, piano was the first thing I messed around with when I was a kid. Like probably like 7 or 8 years old. That's where my interest in music started. I started just playing around with this little POS keyboard that I had, and it went from there. Like I was just obsessed with sounds.
Gotcha. Did you know, like, when you were a kid that this is what you wanted to do? Did you know that you wanted to be a rock star?
I've always known that I wanted to be a musician.
Who were some of your bigger influences early on?
Influences for what?
For guitar, for piano, for
just
just general bands that you liked growing up.
Well, Sevenfold, of course, is my favorite band.
He's pointing to his shirt that has Avenged
And then you
Sevenfold
go
on
back
it.
to Sevenfold's influences. I love Guns N' Roses, Metallica, AC/DC. That's the kind of stuff I grew up on.
Yeah.
It's really, really big on hair metal.
Yeah.
When I
Same
first
here.
started playing guitar, so that's where a lot of my influence on guitar comes
Love it.
from.
He actually had long hair back then.
Nice.
Yep. I actually, when I was like 12 years old and I started playing guitar, I was going to like Quiet Riot shows in their after heyday.
Right.
Skid Row, Quiet Riot, Slaughter.
I know you're younger than me. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm 32, so this is sort of before both our times, but still, something about that era of music
My
is
parents
just
gave me
timeless, I
a
think.
well-rounded buffet, so to speak, of music.
I also think there's an energy and a vibe of that particular era of music.
That in the 90s I absolutely love.
Yeah, I mean, people tend to clown on it a little bit, but there's some genuine emotion there. It wasn't meant to be ironic, and there was some good musicians that came out of that time, and same before and after. So I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Sarah,
for sure.
were you always a fan of music, or like how did you first get involved into like local shows? Were you just going as a fan, or was that something you want to be more involved in?
I mean, music has been a huge part of my life. My mother raised me on Van Halen.
Nice.
And I mean, my password for everything, I won't tell you the email or the username, but my password for everything is 5150.
Nice.
So Van Halen 5150 tour, Live Without a Net. I've seen those over and over and over and over. And coming from that, I got into heavier stuff when I was in middle school and high school. I've always been a huge Metallica fan. And as I got out of high school, I realized that where I wasn't where I wanted to be. I was going out to the woods. I was riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and I mean, that's all fun, but it's just the people I was hanging around, they weren't going anywhere, and they just wanted to do that every day of their lives. Well, I didn't want to wreck bikes anymore. I wanted to kind of go jump around to some live music. So I found some friends who knew some local bands. We started going to shows just about every weekend, and then I found out that I was really, really good at marketing. I was really good at meeting new people, and I was good at spreading the word about new shows and about, what's up and coming. And then I met Collin, and it seems like everything just kind of fell into place. I mean, Collin has taught me so much. I'm an extrovert, so I'm not the one that likes to be on the computer all day posting things. I'm more the person that's going to talk to you face to face, Collin, being an introvert, he can be on the computer all day and he can have 12 conversations at once. I can't really do that, but he's kind of teaching me to be a little more to myself now, and I'm teaching him how to come out of the box a little bit more.
You guys kind of complement each other.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know exactly what you mean.
His intellectual values, I mean, they're extraordinary, and what he brings to the table meshed with what I bring to the table, we can create amazing things. We're actually working on a little side project right now.
Really?
We are. Although he's in a band and he has some work he does, and I have a full-time job, not to mention a job that I do whenever, and Marsh Productions.
Right.
We're going to be starting kind of a lifestyle company.
Really?
Yes, we are actually going to be doing t-shirts and home decor. It's sacred geometry with a little bit of a twist. For anybody out there who knows what sacred geometry is, it's very spiritual. And if you look up, like let's say Flower of Life shirt, everything is very, very colorful, almost tie-dye, very Festivian-esque. What we want to do is we want to bring some sacred geometry to the table that can be worn in, let's say, the rock or the metal scene. We want to
bring it to the dark side.
Yeah, we want to do a darker light of sacred geometry.
Sacred geometry. I have to admit, I'm not familiar with sacred geometry.
Well, in a nutshell, Collin and I, we both have the Flower of Life tattooed on us. In a nutshell, if you look up sacred geometry, it's pretty much the notion that we are all one. We are all composed of the same thing, so you and I are the same as anybody else that's in this building right now. We are the same as anything in nature, and it's very spiritual. So we want to bring...
I don't think that's necessarily the best way to explain sacred geometry. The best way I would say to explain it is everything in the universe has a geometric pattern to it.
Gotcha.
No matter what you want to go into.
It's all the same.
If you want to talk about music, you can find the information about music in different octaves within this pattern right here.
I gotcha. So it sounds like some of the Eastern religions, almost like a pagan vibe to it. I don't want to be presumptuous, of course.
It's not really a religion. It's
science.
I mean,
right.
And math. It's math and science.
Right.
Great scientist or any physicist.
Well, yes, geometry is a science.
Geometry goes into everything.
And what we're actually going to be doing, I've already designed the logo. That's going to be a little bit of a surprise. What we're doing, instead of just designing everything ourselves, we know that, he's in a band, I'm a promoter, and I market stuff, so we know that there's so many artists out there. What we're actually doing is anybody can be a part of what we're doing. They just need to submit a piece. They need to submit like a painting or a drawing that they've done. And if we decide to go with it, then that artist actually gets paid. They get paid to be put on a shirt.
That's always nice.
They get paid to be put on a shirt or put on various other things that we will not speak of at this time.
Okay. Sounds saucy.
It is saucy. But so we're working on a little bit of a project that's going to bring us residual income. And with him being in a band, if that takes off, then he won't have to have a job when he's home from tour.
And it gives me something that's not necessarily music, because I'm always doing music and I love it. But sometimes you gotta
need balance
step
in your
away
life.
and do something.
But it
else.
keeps him creative.
Right.
That's very important, is to keep yourself.
And it's still
keep
artistic.
The creative juices
It still
flowing.
allows me to find a way, to be creative, coming up with different designs, stuff like that.
Very cool, man. Yeah, well, I can't wait to see that when that comes out and learn more about it. It sounds very interesting. You're a natural salesperson, obviously, being a promoter. You mentioned being an extrovert, so it's like I'm already thinking about it because you're able to go out there and give it. You're not so much into that, but you guys complement each other well when it comes to that. It's sort of an opposites attract vibe, and I like that. But it sounds like you guys are. It's really cool that you guys are both involved with it together and both kind of on the same page about it. It's definitely rare that stuff like that happens in a significant way where you guys are able to stay together and hopefully not fight too much, but obviously still get a lot of stuff done.
I don't think I'd be too happy if I had a girlfriend that couldn't really promote and couldn't help me. Help me promote my thing and help me.
I don't think it stems so far as
going both ways. Like, should help your significant other out. And
Right. I don't think it stems so far as being with somebody who doesn't promote. I think it's more so of he's a very creative being,
Right.
being an artist, and just trying to create new music for the world to sink their teeth in or blow out their eardrums with. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But I mean, he couldn't really be with somebody who's, the 9-to-5er with a job who,
Right.
Comes home and has dinner and then goes to bed, which I do sometimes. Don't let me kid, but I have a very artistic side. I'll paint while he's practicing or while he's recording stuff with the guys, and I give him ideas.
keep the creativity
And
going.
he gives me ideas, so it's almost like we're two very spiritual, very artistic people who just kind of mesh well.
Yeah.
And even, no matter what the future brings, I mean, I'm never going to stop learning from this guy, ever.
There you go. Sounds good. We talk about touring a lot and how businesses are on the road. Obviously, it's people don't necessarily talk about this as much because they say that I'm trying to think how I should frame this, but
Take your time, no rush.
no, but people often say about how much the business has changed in terms of no one buying records anymore, and that a band needs to survive, needs to make its money when it's on the road. But when you're an independent band that's up and coming, it's still very tough to tour. Even bands who are established aren't necessarily making a lot of money on tour.
Yeah.
Like I've even seen guys like Chino Moreno from the Deftones, who are a very well-known veteran band. They're not necessarily A-list celebrities by any means, but they're still like very famous in the rock world. And Chino was very honest about the realities of the situation.
They still have a tough time hitting their goals and getting to where they want to be.
I mean, does that worry you when you're on the road, when you look at stuff like that, and just
does,
how hard it is?
But the great thing about the state of the music industry and how it's changed from being a record-based business to a live and streaming-based business is anyone can write a song, record it at their house, put that song out, and have it heard around the world and grow a fan base.
Right.
So why wouldn't you want to do it? Even if you're not going to just go out and tour, even if you're just going to be the guy that, it's my hobby, whatever, I'm going to record, I'm going to put out this song, I'm going to work my job. You can still get your music heard around the world now.
Definitely. And I think to that point, I think it helps to have someone who's going to be able to put you out there, like someone behind it. Hence, going back to what we were talking about with Chris Marsh Productions, about Sarah, about you being an extrovert and a promoter. It almost seems like it's not, and I'm trying to figure out how to say this correctly without pissing too many people off, because I try not to be that guy. But I mean, it's almost not enough to just be a good band. And well, I mean, I guess you could argue that it's never been enough to be just that.
Very true.
But, the fact is, just being and writing a good song or even having a good show isn't necessarily enough. You almost need to have some sort of vehicle, some sort of thing that gets you noticed. Because
you kind of need the whole package. When it really comes down to it, you need to be awesome on stage. You need to write awesome music that everyone can relate to, and you need to be able to promote to your audience and bring them out to shows.
I think one of the biggest reasons why Breathing Theory has been able to keep that vehicle moving is the fact that the members in the band, they're very in touch with their fans. I mean, they talk to their fans every single day. They have these relationships with their fans, and they do contests. Pretty much, I think, at the end of the day, their fans are very much so connected to them, and they feel like they know them on a personal level, which is going to, as soon as they put out a new song, all of these people are like, oh my gosh, they put out a new song. I don't care what it costs me. I want that. It's almost like their fans really are their family. The theorists, that's what
Absolutely.
they are. I even bought a shirt.
Sure. Yeah, like even they even started their own
maybe that's
Facebook group, the hashtag Theorist thing. That was all started by the fans. And that just goes to show you that's what you need to do nowadays. It's all about having that personal connection.
Maybe that's what has given us success so far. And I'm not saying we're definitely not where we want to be or where our goals are yet. but maybe that's what's given us our local success and our regional success, is just, loving our fans and having a relationship with them.
Right, and having that connection, doing things to kind of put yourself out there, like this podcast, and things.
Corey has even handwritten lyrics and sent them to fans.
There you go.
Along with, albums that were sold and things of that nature?
Yeah, we try to sign as many albums as we can when they're ordered and send them out. We sign anything that fans want. We take pictures, we hang out, we talk with our fans, have a drink with our fans, whatever.
That's perfect.
We want to know them on a personal level.
That's perfect. I'm like taking notes over here. This is amazing. All mental. You guys are doing it the right way. I mean, as good as anyone in your position can afford to make it. Obviously, it's tough out there.
Yeah.
But what has been some of your biggest markets so far? Obviously, you're based here in Florida, but have there been particular parts of the country that have been a good concentration of fans for you?
What?
Ohio.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right. Well, with Kegan living there, I guess he's repping Ohio pretty hard.
We being that Kegan's in Ohio, and sometimes when we take off for tour, we go straight to Ohio to start.
Oh, okay.
We saturate that area. We've done really well with the fan base up there. We're doing really, really well.
They get free food there.
In Tennessee.
Nice.
Everybody in Tennessee treats us great. We have a lot of friends in Clarksville. Everything's going really good there. We've done pretty well in Philly.
My hometown, love it.
Also, where I'm from, Michigan.
Yeah.
The way that the music fans are in Michigan, they're there to find out about new bands, and it's awesome.
Very cool.
It's something that you don't necessarily see down here all the time.
You ever make it up to Grand Rapids or anything like that?
Not Grand Rapids. My sister actually goes to college there, but
okay. Shout out John Devine. I know you're listening.
Yeah, we actually haven't played up there yet. We played in Battle Creek. Michigan.
Cool.
Music Factory. That place is awesome.
Nice.
Yep.
How about the Machine Shop in Flint?
Haven't hit it yet. I think the old lineup before I was in the band did it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're planning on going back.
How long have you been in the band?
I've been in the band for about 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years.
Nice.
Actually,
nice.
I think it was about May 1st was our first tour, my first tour with this band.
Oh, okay.
With the new lineup that we built. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
and it went from nothing to where we are now. So it's kind of awesome to look back and see everything we've done, and have faith that things are going to be awesome in the future if we keep pushing.
Yeah, definitely. I think you guys are doing all the right things. I'm excited to hear about some of these festivals that you're on. Is there anything that you can say now, or is that?
We're on Ink and the Clink, which is going to be with Mushroom Head, Saliva. I'm trying to remember all the bands here. Pop Evil, Red Sun Rising, Flaw is on that one. 40 Below Summer.
Okay.
And I think I'm missing one. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but
very cool.
That's going to be a fun one. It's actually it's only a 2-year-old festival, but it's actually at the penitentiary where the Shawshank Redemption was filmed.
And where's that located?
It's in Mansfield, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
It's only $30 for a day for a ticket. It's a 3-day festival. We're on the first day, which is July 15th, and if I remember correctly, there's tattoos. That's why it's called Ink and the Clank. There's tattoos. There's a car show, a pinup show.
Hey man, you got all the details memorized. Look at that.
And a music festival.
This is all he does.
See, don't sell yourself short. You're a salesman too. You're selling it right now.
Well, I actually used to sell cable.
There you go.
For 2 years.
Okay, all right, there you go.
Even
so
as an introvert, I know how to push out.
You know the hustle. You know what's going on there. So that's cool. Any particular road stories that you want to share? Any fun, crazy things that have happened while you're on the road with the guys?
Dude, there is so many. You would have to ask me details for me to come up with something because there's so many crazy.
Oh, come on! You just give us something you could share. A particular moment, something funny that one of the guys did.
One, dude.
All right.
Jeez. I don't know. There's been so many crazy things that we've done. We went to Niagara Falls. That was pretty awesome.
Nice.
Went and gambled in Niagara Falls, and Rob won a bunch of money, and I lost a bunch of money, so I was, of course, pissed at him.
Right. Well, hope he at least, lend you some.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a great story, but you gotta ask me details,
I'm sure it was exciting at the time. I mean, it's
yeah.
Or at least stressful anyway.
We broke down hundreds of times, had crazy things happen.
Actually, the last tour they went on, how many times did you mess up the tire on the van?
Oh my God, our van and our trailer eats tires like crazy.
In Titusville.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we always blow out a tire on the way out or on the way in Titusville. I don't know what it is about Titusville.
I
but
come home from work and they were supposed to be gone. They were supposed to have been on the road for about an hour at this time. I come home and I see everybody in the band just standing around my roommate's garage, and the 3 women that were there had handsaws and were hacking away at this tire, trying to get the tire off of the rim,
blown
off
out
of the
trailer so we can get the
rim.
back.
And then they're taking hammers, they're using flathead screwdrivers, and Colin's trying. Corey's not touching it. My roommate Crystal was trying. Her friend Courtney was trying. Rob was hitting it and kicking it.
Long story short,
and
we
finally
didn't get
I said, hey guys, I have to go get new tires on my car tomorrow. How about I just bring it to the tire shop? Corey goes, that's a good idea.
Genius.
Let's go. Thank goodness an Aries showed up.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like I can look into the hood of a car and I might as well be staring into the human brain. Like, I have no idea what's going on. That's the thing, you get a bunch of musicians broken down by the road, you better hope one of them at least knows what they're doing when it comes to,
Somebody should make up
working on
memes.
cars.
Yeah.
Musicians stuck on the side of the road memes.
Yeah, because obviously none of us really know what we're doing. Just kidding.
It probably looks like Mad Max Fury Road out there.
Mechanically inclined, so we do
Nice.
all right. We make it work. But
Nice.
okay, so I thought of the best story. The
Oh,
best
all right.
story of everything that we've done up until now.
All
On
right.
our first tour, we broke down in a place called West Chambersburg in the middle of the night in a Walmart parking lot. And Rob and I were just sitting there playing acoustic guitars. Just like mariachi, like flamenco style stuff.
Nice.
Just like I'm shredding these flamenco leads, and he's like playing the chorus.
Nice.
And we're like, dude, let's walk in this Walmart and just play guitar walking through the Walmart.
Sure.
So we went through the Walmart, walking really slow, like at a very slow walking pace to the music. Walked throughout the store. All the employees stopped working and just followed us around the store. This one dude started filming us all the way throughout the store.
Like they were forming a conga line,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Everyone was just stopping working and watching this. Like, we've never seen anything like this. And then the manager got, of course, pissed at us, chased us out, called the cops. Even though we spent $80 in the store,
Right. Yeah, like, and where, West Chambersburg, where was this?
West Chambersburg, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, okay,
Yeah.
so, I mean, chances are that might have been the least offensive thing that happened there that night at that hour.
I think the biggest issue.
Yet you guys got the cops called on.
Yeah, the biggest issue they
Clearly, he just doesn't dig flamenco music.
Yeah, the dude that was filming it, I guess it's against their store policy to be filming in the store. So
Right.
It's probably
the
against
dude
the
that
store
wasn't even
policy
with
for
us,
everybody to stop working, too.
Right.
Yeah, but
But I mean, if a
that was
conga line
definitely
breaks
great.
out, I mean, what are you going to do? Like,
And
you need to follow that.
The great thing about it too was as they were standing out there and the cops showed up, we just finally at that moment got the van running and took off. We're just like, all right. It's running, so
Did
you
you
guys don't
run
have
from
to
the
tow
from
us.
the cops?
No, we didn't.
Oh, I was about
We
to
didn't
say.
run from the cops, no. We talked to the cops, and then they were like, "Well, we're gonna have to tow you if we can't get it running because Walmart doesn't want you guys here anymore."
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, thankfully there wasn't like a horrific police chase through the streets of West Chambersburg.
No,
They wouldn't make it far.
That would have been bad.
we aren't that much of outlaws, so to speak.
That would have made for an interesting story as well, though. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
But yeah,
So,
that was definitely great.
So now is Uprise Part 2 out yet? The second part of your
Uprise
two-part
Part
EP?
2 released back in November.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Because I've been listening to it over the last couple of days. It seems like there's almost a little bit of a... I mean, kind of... There's some songs that are a little bit more mellow, more melodic on this version. And I remember talking to Dave about this a while ago. He said that there was sort of like a concept behind it, or at least a theme you had going in with the two.
Yeah, we definitely had a
EPs.
theme that developed between all the songs, and came to be our live performance, with the gas masks and what we had with the video. If you watch the Reckoning video,
I was there on set for the Reckoning video.
Yes, you were.
Myself and Ryan were.
It was freezing. That was the worst video shoot
coldest
ever.
day of the night, or coldest night of the year.
It was a fun shoot, though.
Yeah, it was perfect because it was so cold, and with the breath being able to be seen in the shots, that just made it all.
Every single person that was there huddled around the lamps after the shoot was over,
warming their hands.
hands.
If you can hear what that sound is.
Really some solid physical acting chops from you guys. A lot of running, a lot of stunt takes.
It was a fun video.
Did all your own stunts. It was impressive.
I don't know how good we did them.
Right.
Colin looked like a large flamingo when he was jumping over the wall.
He looked like he sprang over like a gazelle. It was incredible.
I thought flamingo.
It's like a gazelle with a faux hawk. It was gorgeous.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so the two albums have been out for a while now. We're starting to work on another one, and we're working with a new producer. We're going to be recording at Full Sail University with
nice.
A Grammy-winning producer by the name of Malcolm Springer. He's actually worked with there's so many. He's worked with Matchbox 20, Collective Soul.
Oh wow! I thought the name rang a bell somewhere.
Fear Factory. There's a whole bunch of them, a whole slew
Very
of them.
cool, yeah. Full Sail has so much cool stuff over there.
Awesome guy. He definitely has some good ideas for what he wants to help us do as a band.
Do you think it's going to be like another EP, or you think you're going for a full album?
We're shooting for the full length, but we're starting with an EP. If that makes sense.
I think that's smart because
kind of slowly working the ideas out. Right now we have like 6 songs in the works, and then a couple of older songs that we haven't used yet.
I mean, like I said, I think that's smart because let's be honest. I mean, when you're not working with a label, it almost doesn't make sense to record or at least release a full length album. If you could put it out in little increments like that, sort of spread it out.
And I definitely I'm definitely love doing full lengths because when you have a full length, you can put that concept together between the songs where the whole album tells a story, and when you listen to it, you can relate to every song all the way through, and it has a certain track listing, so it flows all the way through.
Absolutely.
And that's what we were actually shooting to do with Uprise. However, we ended up splitting it up that way we could record in release in a timely fashion.
Right.
We don't want to keep our fans waiting for too long for the
it's not so much of like a concept record. Like it's not you're not really telling a story throughout, but there is a certain theme that it follows, sort of that post-apocalyptic sort of vibe to it, but there's a sense of hopefulness in there as well. And that's a really cool thing to tell. I think it's something that people are going to be able to relate to, even if they're not, even if they don't necessarily understand the story or what's being told. There's
and by the title,
something to connect to.
By the title to Uprise, like essentially what the message throughout it is rise up, do what you want in life, do what we're doing, live your dream.
That's what rock and roll is about. It's a universal theme. You've heard it a million times, but it still works and it still applies. So it definitely makes sense.
Music is definitely supposed to be a universal language.
I don't really know anyone who doesn't like music, so.
But there's still, of course I won't name any bands, whether they're big or small, in a negative light.
Right.
But there are still bands in which the lyrics make no sense, or it's just all to make a hit, and it's all for radio play, and that's not necessarily a good thing because there's a lot of bands who have lost their touch with society, who have lost their touch with the personable approach and are just doing it to make money. And any band I've ever met who doesn't necessarily have a bunch of money, they're still very much in touch with their fans. And let's take Vertebraker, Breathing Theory, Mechanism, all of these local bands, they're still very much so in touch with their fans and in touch with what their lyrics mean to people. And as soon as you see a band lose touch in their lyrics, they're going to lose fans.
That's it.
It's always supposed to mean something.
Interesting. Yeah. I definitely don't disagree with that.
People should be able to relate. no matter
Definitely.
how old you are.
Yeah, we all know there's always a lot of radio garbage out there where it's just regurgitated, brr, 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 the same word repeated 100 times, repetition. And
Like
there's no genuine meaning.
Like how many
to
times
music.
can you say the pain inside before it really just becomes repetitive? You know? It's
Before
like
you actually feel pain inside.
we get it. You're angry. All right. Now I just realized that I have to step up my lyrical game because it's. I look at some of my stuff and I'm trying to what the hell was I saying there? And sometimes people come up to me and it's like, yeah, Jack, I really understood that, a really deep lyrical. It really spoke to me, and I don't have the heart to tell them that
You don't know what it means.
I was just trying to make it fit. Really, that's not true for all my stuff, though. I'd like to think.
No, a song is definitely going to touch someone, and I think that's what. Oh my God!
Wow.
No.
Well, that says something.
Okay.
It's,
Okay, Colin.
don't know if we need to say it right now, but it says something.
No more coffee. I think we need to leave Starbucks. But yeah, lyrics are supposed to touch someone. And whether it be something that they can relate to from the past, something they can relate to in the present, or something they can relate to in their vision of their future, it's very important not to just put a bunch of jumbled mesh together just because it all rhymes and because you think it sounds good to that guitar tone.
If I could paraphrase a great quote, unskinny bop, nothing more to say. So I think that says it all, really.
Very good, very good.
Bozy bop. All right. So, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Clearly the caffeine is starting to affect us all, so...
You're not even drinking coffee.
I know. What's my excuse? I don't know.
Cookie.
It is. The sugar just goes right to my brain, and I start quoting David Lee Roth and Poison. I don't know.
Poison had some good songs. Like,
Sure, something to believe in. Come on.
Maybe enough to
Nothing
count
but
on
a good
one
time?
hand. I don't know.
Hey. Yeah.
I grew up on it, like I said.
Love it. Yeah, no, I love it too. I'm not disrespecting anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just having a little fun here, as we do. So yeah, I mean that says it all. I mean, obviously you guys, have new music in the works, always on the road, always touring. Definitely, where can fans go and find out more about what Breathing Theory is doing and find out where they're playing next?
We're on all the social media networks. We interact with our fans on Facebook. Go to our Facebook page, like it, follow us, interact, comment. We'll reply. We're gonna have conversations with you. Twitter, we're on there. We're also on Instagram.
Is it at Breathing Theory or?
Facebook is at Official Breathing Theory.
Okay.
Yep. And then Instagram is Breathing Theory Official.
Okay.
And Twitter is at Official BT Band.
Gotcha. At Official BT Band. And is it breathingtheory.com? Do you guys?
We also have a .com as well.
Okay, perfect. That should probably link you to all this stuff. So breathingtheory.com is the one, I would say, the central one to go to, and that'll put you up with all your various accounts.
You can sign up for our mailing list at breathingtheory.com. We're actually going to be sending out free tickets for certain shows if you're in a close proximity to the show that we're doing. Like if you're a Florida fan and you sign up for the mailing list, you're going to get tickets to Mayfest.
Absolutely, man. Breathing Theory coming to a town near you. I like the sound of that. Sarah,
and one more thing too. Yeah, bands in town. That's probably the best way to keep up with us, where we're playing, where our shows are, what time the show is going to be. That app is excellent. All you got to do is track us. It'll give you an email notification or a text notification anytime we confirm a show that we're going to be playing in your area.
Definitely. Sarah, anything else you want to plug before we head out here? I know Marsh Productions you can find on Facebook. Anything else you want to plug while we still have got some time here?
If anyone is wanting to know of any of the shows that the Chris Marsh team will be attending, all of that will always be disclosed on the Chris Marsh Productions Facebook page. Any show that we're going to be going to from now until May 21st, we will have Mayfest tickets. So for any of you that are still looking for your tickets, just give us a call, contact us, message us. You can like us on Facebook, do whatever you must. And please, anyone that's listening, you are what keeps the music alive. So please continue going to local shows. Please continue showing your favorite bands love, and please continue checking out new bands. And also, do not drink and drive. We love you.
Yes, everyone be safe out there. Guys, this is so cool. Thank you guys for coming out all the way here to do this.
Thank you.
In person, face to face. I'm able to actually look people in the eye and have a
one last
conversation.
question. What is the story behind the Phoenix Report? Why is that the name of the podcast?
Well,
Never caught that.
Well, I mean, I kind of explain it, and anyone listening can go back and listen to the very first episode. But I've always liked the imagery of that it's a fictional animal, the phoenix, rising from the ashes. I'm also a really big Queen fan, and that was on their logo as well. Freddie Mercury is my hero, obviously. So it was a combination of that and Jean Grey from the X-Men, and also but also just what that represents. And anyone who's ever gone through something in their life that they felt the need to come back from, I felt that was a symbol of strength. And
Phoenix is kind of a symbol of rebirth as well. Right?
Exactly, and that's sort of become. It's sort of become a part of me, almost my alter ego.
Nice.
It's like Clark Kent and Superman are still the same guy after all.
Mm-hmm.
Although you're wearing a Batman shirt.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can be fans of both.
Right.
Right.
But Batman's still better.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for coming all the way out. So good to talk to you two crazy kids who are in love and love rock and roll. Gotta love it. Any final thoughts before we sign off here?
I think that's it. Come see some Breathing Theory shows. Come out to the Marsh Productions shows.
Mayfest 2016.
Whoop whoop.
And keep listening to the Phoenix Report.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much to Collin and Sarah for a great conversation. Man, we had such a great time meeting there at Starbucks. As you could tell, I recorded that on my phone, so I'm surprised it turned out as well as it did. There was a little background noise there, but I didn't think it was too bad. Just a great conversation. I swear, once I stopped recording, we stayed there for another hour just talking about stuff and just laughing, having a great time. So they're just really good people. Check out Collin's band Breathing Theory at breathingtheory.com. That has a link to all their social media, everything that they're into, and check out facebook.com/Chris Marsh Productions for everything that CMP is doing, all the work that Sarah is doing with them. And just stay tuned to everything that they're doing because they have a lot of cool stuff happening. As far as some upcoming events, Vertebraker will be playing Saturday, April 30th at the County Line Saloon in Melbourne, Florida. We were scheduled to be there for an MMA event. That was supposed to be earlier in the month of April. It looks like it will be Friday, April 30th, though, because they postponed it. Extreme Fighting Alliance is putting on an event called Bar Brawl at the County Line Saloon. Should be a good time. There'll only be 4 of us because Ryan won't be available, but we'll still try to entertain you anyway. Also, a week after that, on Saturday, May 7th, we will be back in Melbourne at the Landfill Saloon, along with Delacoma, Ern, and Travis Daigle. I definitely want to get Travis on the podcast one of these days. I know he listens, and just a great kid. Also, want to get Delacoma Rio back on the podcast. He was on an earlier episode with Jason Todd, formerly of Shinedown. Really good dude. First international guest. Since he's from Melbourne, Australia. This time he'll be in Melbourne, Florida, with all of us. So it'll be really cool to see Delacoma back with his entire band. Should be a great night. Tickets are on sale now. Definitely let us know in Vertebraker if you're interested in any advance tickets, and we will be happy to get them out to you if you're in the area. Later in the month, we are actually playing our first shows outside of the state of Florida. This is really exciting. We are playing 2 dates along with our good friends Oblivious Signal. They are also a fellow Blind Anxiety Entertainment band. Really good band out of Fort Lauderdale. We will be playing 2 dates with them in Georgia. On Friday, May 20th, we will be at Coach's Sports Bar and Grill in Albany, Georgia. We will be there along with our good friends Days to Come and another band called Firing Embers from Mississippi. And the night after, we will be at Rachel's in Savannah also with Oblivious Signal and a band called Honest Lie. So if you're in those areas, please come and check us out, and we would be happy to meet you. So that's it for this episode of the Phoenix Report. As always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at JackXConnor, like me on Facebook at facebook.com/JackConnorMusic, and feel free to check out the band at vertebraker.net. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, make sure you email me at jackconnorpodcast@gmail.com. I am always interested to hear some feedback. Definitely answer some questions of yours. If you have any questions to ask me, make sure you let me know. I will read them here on the show. I would be happy to do it. And if you don't want to email me at jackconnorpodcast@gmail.com, you could always tweet me with the hashtag Phoenix Report. And if you're listening to this on YouTube or iTunes, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, and go back and listen to all the other episodes. Thank you guys for listening. This has been the Phoenix Report. I'm Jack Connor. I will see you later.